Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to try to create roughly the same sound on these two synthesizers. This is the Novation PEAK, a virtual analog hybrid synth with an analog filter, and the Akai MPC One, which is a groovebox which happens to have a virtual analog synthesizer built into it. And I'm trying to create some kind of filter sweep evolving pad using saw waves. And yeah, here we go. So let's begin on the MPC. I've set this up so I can use the jog wheel to switch between MPC and PEAK. And we can press the program edit button here, and then we're taken to the virtual analog synthesizer. And I've got a preset patch here, which is a pure saw wave, sounds like this. Okay, and for comparison, let's switch to the PEAK, sounds like this. MPC, PEAK. There's a slight difference there already, but let's see how far we can get with this. Okay, next thing, I want to add a second oscillator. So let's go to the mixer and filter page here on the MPC, and then go to this column and just dial up the loudness of the oscillator. And also let's detune this slightly. So we change the fine tuning here like this. Alright, now let's do the same thing on the PEAK. Let's bring up the second oscillator and change the fine tuning a bit. Okay, let's compare PEAK, MPC. I think that sounds pretty comparable so far. Okay, next thing, let's add an envelope, an amplitude envelope. So we have we want to create a pad, so let's have a slow attack phase, so sound begins slow and fades away slowly. So let's increase the attack phase here, and also increase the release time drastically, like this. And also dial down the sustain value, so the sound gets a little bit less loud after some seconds. So let's listen to this. A little bit less release perhaps. Okay, now let's do the same thing on the PEAK. So we have these sliders here. Okay, let's compare PEAK, MPC. Still pretty comparable, I think. So here comes the big difference. Let's add some filters. So on the PEAK we have this nice analog filter. This sounds really good, and you can see we can choose between 12 decibel and 24 decibel of reduction. So let's dial down the resonance all the way and yeah, just adjust the filter. Perhaps like this. Alright, let's do that on the MPC. Okay, go to the filter page, and then first we need to adjust the slope of the filter. At the moment it's 12 decibel, but we want to use 24. And then let's adjust the cutoff frequency. So let's compare this. This is the MPC. This is the PEAK. Okay. Okay, on the peak I think we need to go a little bit higher. Let's listen again. I think that's pretty comparable. All right, next thing, let's add a filter envelope. So on the peak, we can do this by adjusting the envelope depth here. So we can now apply these sliders to create a filter envelope. So we want a long attack and a long release, and a little bit of sustain, and a long decay like this. So let's adjust the filter envelope depth. Alright, and now the same thing on the MPC. Go to the edit page, then to envelope, and we've got the filter envelope up here. Now we can adjust this with the knobs here. So, same thing, attack, a little bit of decay. And also we have to adjust the envelope strength here. Let's compare. This is the MPC. This is the peak. MPC. Still pretty similar, I think. But now we should see a difference once I start adding filter resonance. So let's do this on the peak first. This sounds pretty good, and now let's try the same thing on the MPC. We go to the filter page and we've got our resonance here. Let's dial this up and see what we get. Okay, let's compare. MPC, peak. Oh yeah, that's a quite obvious difference there. This sounds so much better. You barely notice the filter resonance on the MPC. Let's dial a bit more up here and perhaps add some saturation. And some drive perhaps. Okay, one more comparison, MPC, peak. Peak clearly has an edge here. Okay. Next thing, let's add some LFOs. I want some filter modulation using one of the LFOs here. So let's use this knob on the peak to introduce LFO 1 on the filter. Okay, and on the MPC, same thing. Go to the LFO page, set the destination to filter, and then just play with the depth of the effect. So let's adjust the rate a bit. Okay, that's the MPC. Here's the peak. Alright, next thing, let's add some effects. So on the MPC, go to the chorus page. Let's add some chorus, turn this on by pressing this button here. That's a bit too much, so let's dial down the depth. Let's add some more voices to this chorus. Okay, and now on the peak. Oh, I've pressed the filter effects bypass button here, so let's press this again, and let's listen. Peak, MPC. Alright, let's add some delay. So on the MPC, go to the delay page and turn this on. And now let's listen again. Let's increase the width here all the way up. And same thing on the peak. So on the peak you have to go to the effects section and then adjust the left-right ratio setting here. So we get this nice stereo effect. And last but not least, let's add some reverb. So go to the reverb page here, turn it on. Let's choose a big reverb, like stadium, and yeah, let's listen to this. All right, and now the peak. Okay, that's the peak, and now once again the MPC. Once again, peak. And once again, the MPC. Pardon. Yeah. I think, yeah, what can I say? The difference is quite obvious. This one sounds better, but I think in the mix you probably wouldn't hear the difference that much. And also don't forget the MPC One is an all-in-one groovebox, so it can do a lot more stuff than the Peak does, while the Peak is a specialized synthesizer which is especially designed to create sounds. Yeah, and that's it for today. I hope you found this interesting and useful, and if you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. There are lots and lots of other synthesizer related videos on there. And as always, thanks for watching. And see you again next week. Bye bye.